A new offer that may keep a USC bike vendor on campus and in the USC community.
U.S. officials are reacting to the chemical attack in Syria. We'll hear what President Trump has to say.
And a USC Students app is helping some families be a part of commencement. Tonight, the developer will join us live. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Good news tonight for the popular bike vendor told that he must leave campus. Good evening, I'm Kaylee Heck.
And I'm Rachel Ramos. Tonight, Little Bill has an offer to stay. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan has been following the story and has the late-breaking development.
A happy solution could be on the way for Aaron Flournoy, better known as Little Bill.
Well, I was able to come face to face with the new bike owner in the village.
And he says they offered him a job working at their new store.
I told him I'll think about it.
One of the founders of the new bike shop says they had a great meeting and look forward to finding a solution for all parties involved. This all started last month when USC told Flournoy he would have to move his bike repair shed off campus.
I'm gonna support my family. You know, I'm gonna support myself. You know what I mean? So it's rough, man.
Flournoy says he's been asked to leave because of a non-compete clause from a new high-end bike store that's going in the University Village.
It truly was a scrappy startup in every sense of the word.
Brian Rubin and some friends started that shop, Soleil Bicycles, while they were USC Marshall students. Now they're coming home, adding a location at USC.
You know, it was a dream come true.
And they're trying to find a way to incorporate Flournoy into that business.
There's nothing that's, in my opinion, that's more fulfilling than being able to give back to the place that gave us the idea to start.
So USC has helped them reach out to Flournoy, and the Vice President of Civic Engagement says he remains hopeful that an agreeable solution can be reached. Flournoy says he wants Little Bill's bike shed to continue.
My mind is on saving my business. So that's what I'm trying to do.
He has a follow-up meeting with the owner of the new store next week.
Joining us now is Cole Sullivan, who broke the story 3 weeks ago. Cole, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what has been some of the USC community reaction?
There's been a lot of community reaction. When we saw it, it's exploded on social media. We've had thousands of shares on our original video and hundreds of comments as people try to figure out what they can do to help Bill out, what they can do to make it make this story have a happy ending. Bill says he's even gotten calls from the mayor's office and a city council member, all trying to figure out what they can do to help Bill out.
Now, USC always preaches this Trojan family. What do you think this job offer says about that family? You know,
I think through all of this reporting that I've done on this story, it's really talked a lot about the Trojan family. Everyone here feels like they're part of the USC community and wants to make sure that that another member of the USC community, Aaron, Little Bill, has a place here. So from the very first people he's talking to at USC to this new bike store, they're USC alums, to Bill himself, they all want a happy solution. They all want to make sure that that it's part of the Trojan family, that they're all part of this Trojan family. Now it's up to Bill to decide what he wants to have happen and what he thinks is best for him. We also reached out to some of the students on our campus to see what their reactions were. Let's take a look and see what students had to say.
Offering him a job was the right move, especially with how upset a lot of the students were. I think that was the right move.
There's a lot of pride and self-esteem when it comes to owning your own business, and the fact is the non-competition clause kind of just, ruins small businesses like this.
So some different reactions there, different opinions as you have, but everyone wants to see something happen with this, and we're going to continue to follow up on the story and bring you, as we have from the very get-go all the way up till now and into the future. We'll continue to bring you all the latest developments.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Cole, for joining us and bringing us the latest on what's going to happen with Little Bill's Bike Shop.
Absolutely.
Hate crimes are on the rise in Los Angeles. That's according to a new study from Cal State San Bernardino. Annenberg Media's Giovanni Mujayez is here to break down the latest data. Giovanni?
Yeah, some of these numbers are actually pretty surprising. The report from the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism analyzed the latest stats from LAPD. Hispanic, Black, and white communities also saw a rise in hate crimes from 2015 to 2016. And now here's the surprise. A number of hate crimes against Jews and Muslims actually were dropping. Perhaps the most alarming data concerns sexual orientation. Crimes against gay women are up more than 66%, and gay men almost 43%. One of the study's co-authors told us that these attacks are becoming more violent.
What's more alarming is, I think, the type of crimes that are associated with these hate crimes. I mean, aggravated assaults went up by around, I think it was 63% from 2015 to 2016. So when people interact with people that are not like themselves, they need to remember that that should be a positive interaction. And I'm hoping and I think that's what we're hoping, is by presenting this data, those interactions will be more positive and we'll move away from polarization.
I checked in with the latest captain of the West Hollywood Sheriff's Division, in the city with the highest percentage of gay residents in the county, has not experienced this rise in hate crimes. Rachel and Kaylee, back to you.
The death toll continues to rise after a chemical weapons attack by Syria's Air Force.
Annenberg Media's international reporter Alicia Wajaja is here to tell us how U.S. officials are responding. Alicia?
President Trump condemned the chemical attack that killed more than 80 people, including at least 30 children and 20 women.
It crossed a lot of lines for me. When you kill innocent children, innocent babies, little babies, with a chemical gas that is so lethal, people were shocked to hear what gas it was. That crosses many, many lines, beyond the red line, many, many lines.
United States Ambassador Nikki Haley urged the United Nations to take action after the attack.
Look at those pictures. We cannot close our eyes to those pictures. We cannot close our minds of the responsibility to act.
250,000 people have been killed so far in the Syrian civil war. While Trump said the chemical weapons attack had changed his views, he did not give details about how the U.S. would respond. How do you stop fake news? In Germany, with a law. The German cabinet approved plans to fine social media firms up to $53 million if they fail to remove hate speech and fake news or other criminal content fast enough. More specifically, the companies have 24 hours to remove criminal content after it is flagged by users. Other illegal content needs to be deleted within 7 days of being reported. The time frame depends on how false or illegal a post is.
It sounds like a good idea, but every time the government tries to speech through fines, it's not workable. Because the fines are so huge, it's going to push the companies to shut down.
Facebook said today the legislation would force private companies, instead of the courts, to determine what is illegal in Germany. Twitter, Snapchat, and Google have yet to comment. Kaylee and Rachel, back to you.
Steve Bannon no longer has a seat on the National Security Council. President Trump removed him from the committee, but he will remain senior advisor for domestic affairs. No previous top White House advisor has held a role in the NSC. Closer to home, downtown LA is divided over a proposal to create a Skid Row neighborhood council. If a majority votes yes tomorrow, the council would cover about 50 blocks and break off from its current downtown LA neighborhood council.
Skid Row's issues are put on the back burner, and when we're talking about the homeless capital of America, we should be a priority. And so because we're not a priority after being with a part of the downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council for 15 years, we finally said a few years ago, enough is enough. And so here we are. We've been building to this point for 2.5 years.
Many people aren't on board with the separation, including a group called United Downtown. They say the proposed council had serious errors in its application, and they didn't take the right steps to inform businesses that would be within the new council area. In a letter to the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, United Downtown wrote they're, quote, concerned based on the fact that the initial SRNC application did not describe specific boundaries and that, quote, Wikipedia was the primary source being relied upon to determine those boundaries. Voting began last week, and tomorrow is the last day people can cast their ballot at James Wood Community Center.
It's been a rainy winter, but Californians are still conserving water. We have the new numbers.
And applications are down for one group of students in the UC system. We spoke with people at the school across town.
And Pepsi pulled a controversial ad starring Kendall Jenner. We hear what USC students have to say about it.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
For the first time in more than a decade, applications to the University of California schools from international students are down. Annenberg Media's Mark Salinger spoke to a UCLA student to find out why.
For Winhan Shi and Chek Wai N, the UCLA campus feels like home.
You don't really feel like you're alienated because you got a lot of huge diversity from different parts of the world.
They came to California from Hong Kong. International students make up more than 6% of undergraduates attending University of California schools.
You can find any other race of students sitting right around you, and you guys could be friends in just a couple minutes.
For the first time in more than a decade, the number of applications from international students has dropped, falling by 1%. Applications from students in foreign countries had been steadily increasing since 2005, according to an analysis by the San Francisco Chronicle. That's caused the number of international applications to rise from just over 4,000 in 2003 to more than 32,000 this past year. In an interview with Annenberg Media, University of California spokesperson Ricardo Vasquez says increased tuition for non-residents, more recruiting from California high schools, and even the political climate in the United States could be to blame. Applications from Mexico fell by 30%.
It's like last couple years with the increase of the enrollment and the local students start complaining. So I think the officials of the UCs have to make some changes.
Although the number of applications may be slightly down, it remains to be seen how many international students will actually enroll. For USC Annenberg Media, I'm Mark Salinger.
There are nearly 5,000 Chinese students at USC, and many of them will be graduating this May. As you might expect, family members of some international students attending the ceremony don't speak English. Senior Dan Lee debuted a translation app last year to help families understand the commencement speeches. He had the idea when his parents could not understand his high school graduation ceremony because they only speak Chinese. Now international families have a way to bridge the language barrier.
I feel bad for her if she doesn't understand anything on the graduation, and after flying to the country for 13 hours. I think it's really cool that there is something that can help her to understand what is going on.
Joining me now in the studio is Dan Lee. Thanks so much for joining me, Dan.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
Of course, and I understand that last year was the first time that this debuted. What has been some of the reaction from the USC community?
Yeah, last year was the first year we started the program, and there were only a few amount of students who were benefited by the program. But through their experience, they really enjoy the service, and through the service, their family can significantly improve their experience.
Now, are you planning on making any changes to it this year or even next year?
Yeah, so last year we didn't really promote the app just because it was the first year we want to make sure that all the technically aspects were functional well, and this year we plan to promote that through different media channels.
Can you explain to me a little bit about how it works?
Yeah, so we want to make it user-friendly as much as possible. So parents on the graduation day will go on USC commencement website and they will click the tab that says graduation translation in Spanish or Chinese. That's all they need to do. So that they don't need to worry about any other things. All they need to do is just go on the website.
That's awesome. And lastly, is it available on iPhones and Androids and tablets?
Yeah, it will be available on the USC commencement website, so you can use any smartphone you have, whether it's Android or iPhone.
Amazing. Well, comedian Will Ferrell is actually the commencement speaker this year, and everyone should be able to understand and laugh at his jokes. So thank you so much, Stanley, for creating this and for joining me today. We'll send it back to you, Kaylee.
It was a beautiful spring day here in Southern California. Let's hear just how hot it got from our weather anchor, Madeline Otterly.
Good evening, everyone. Things are feeling very hot in Los Angeles today. Even as that sun sets, we are still feeling warm temperatures right around 72 degrees. We will see some of that heat tomorrow as well, even up in those mountains. Big Bear is going to be right around 61 degrees. Nice and sunny up there if you're planning to ski. The coast is a little bit cooler. We're going to expect some fog in the morning, but sun coming up in that afternoon, still a little bit too cold for a beach day. But we're going to have nice warm weather back home. A hot day again, 77 at USC. But slight surprise coming up for that week ahead. We've got a chance of rain on Saturday. Don't worry, that should be clearing up by Sunday. Temperatures will still hover around that high 60s, low 70s the rest of the week. And despite that heat, we are still on our way out of the drought, but Californians haven't forgotten to watch their water. The State Water Resources Control Board said today that urban Californians are saving more water. Just how much? Residents used 25% less water this February than they did in February 2013. And that's double what people conserved last February, when water restrictions were in place.
Some of that is no doubt because we had a very wet February, so people kept the sprinklers off. But they knew to keep the sprinklers off, where folks weren't doing that before. I think a lot of it has to do with the drama and the trauma of the drought that we've been through.
Marcus says outdoor watering is the heart of the problem, but Californians are on the right track. Wow, I'm feeling proud of us today.
I always love hearing when California really steps up to make an impact, and now that the drought is really coming to a close, it's good to hear that people are still conserving a precious resource.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all about going green. I actually recycle all of my water bottles and cans, so, recycling is great. Thank you so much for joining me, Maddie. Pepsi pulled a controversial ad today after it sparked a social media backlash. The ad features model Kendall Jenner joining a group of protesters marching in the street. At the end of the commercial, she hands a can of Pepsi to a police officer. People called the commercial tone deaf and accused Pepsi of trivializing the importance of movements like Black Lives Matter.
As a multinational corporation, you kind of have a responsibility to put out content that is, just acceptable.
Instead of having like a white person, go up and give the white cop, the Pepsi as to be like the middleman type of thing, instead of like a minority going up and doing that.
Pepsi apologized for the ad, saying the company was, quote, trying to project a global message of unity, peace, and understanding, but clearly missed the mark. Pepsi also apologized to Jenner for putting her in this position.
Now, basketball season is over, but we are getting a lot of news from our men's basketball team today.
That's right. It's always sad when a player, transfers or goes away to another area in their career, but it's also kind of exciting. So let's hear more from our sports anchor, Julia Adams.
Thanks, Kaylee and Rachel. Coming up next, postseason has come to a close, but news is still budding about the USC men's basketball team. Hear which leading player declared for the NBA draft this afternoon.
And be sure to join me here at the monitor as we break down the top-ranked USC women's water polo team's matchup against Stanford this weekend.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. Do you see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
this food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Bro?
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot Top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It's good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees. Nothing to do with snow. Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones. Don't even. And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Welcome back to ATVN. USC men's basketball star forward Benny Boatwright told CBS today he is declaring for the 2017 NBA draft without an agent. By choosing to not hire an agent, Boatwright has the ability to test the draft waters and return to school if he chooses. As a sophomore, he still has 2 years of eligibility remaining. Boatwright led the Trojans with 15.1 points per game during his 2017 season campaign. Staying on the court, USC head coach Andy Enfield received a contract extension through 2023 after leading the team to the most wins in program history this season. Enfield was hired back in 2013 and has seen his USC teams increase their total wins each season since. In a press release about Enfield's extension, USC Athletic Director Lynn Swan said, "With Andy Enfield as our head coach, we have built consistency and stability in our men's basketball program. Extending Andy's contract will allow that consistency and stability to continue." Under Enfield's leadership, USC has jumped from 11 total wins in his first season to a record 26 this season. He has also guided the Trojans to 2 back-to-back NCAA tournament berths and won a pair of games in this year's NCAA tourney. The next step for Enfield and the Trojans will be to contend for a league title against powerhouse Pac-12 teams such as Oregon, UCLA, and Arizona. Now to a sports that's actually in season. The top-ranked women's water polo team is going head-to-head with number 2 Stanford this Saturday. Sports correspondent Angel Vizcarra has more on this weekend's matchup.
Thanks, Julia. Well, USC will definitely have its hands full when MPSF foe Stanford makes its way down to the Utengsu Aquatic Center this weekend. And it's safe to say that this matchup between Stanford and USC could be considered a rivalry. And to put things into context, USC is currently on a 52-match winning streak. And guess who beat them? Yep, back in 2015, they got beat by Stanford. And on the opposite spectrum, Stanford's only loss this entire season has come against USC, and it came in an overtime thriller back in February. So the women of Troy are now looking to make it 6 straight wins against the Cardinal with a W this Saturday at Uitengsu.
They're gonna come in strong. They want this title as much as we do, but in the end, it's just who has the heart to win it, and we have the heart, and they do have heart too. But in the end, it's who is just gonna play better and who's gonna have their strength in offense and defense.
All right, so let's take a quick second to look at our keys to the game for this matchup between the women of Troy and the Cardinal this weekend. First, we're starting off with keep the freshmen involved, and by freshmen, we're talking about USC freshman standout Maud Meggans, who has coming off of back-to-back MPSF Newcomer of the Week awards, so she's obviously been involved in the Trojans' offensive attacks, and in last week's victory against Arizona State, she tallied 2 goals, 3 assists, and a pair of steals. So keeping this freshman going is going to be a huge key for USC in their big matchup this weekend. Now let's go on to tip number 2. Chamorro needs to be Chamorro, and we're talking about junior goaltender Victoria Chamorro. She's won the MPSF Goaltender of the Week award on several occasions already this season, and with Stanford's Maggie Stephens coming in already with 46 goals scored this season, Chamorro's going to be a huge part of stopping the Cardinals' offensive attack this weekend. And we round it out with brace yourself for a tight finish. Some things are hard to predict in sports and some aren't, and this weekend this matchup is going to be really, really close between the two teams. 4 of their last 6 matchups against each other have actually resulted in a 1 goal or less victory. So it's going to be a tight matchup. Look for Stefania Harlabides to be the one taking that big shot if she needs to for the women of Troy. So all the action begins this weekend, Saturday, 5 p.m. at the Tangsu Aquatic Center. Back to you in the studio, Julia.
The women's tennis team is set to face 2 tough matchups this weekend against Utah on Friday and Colorado Saturday. The women of Troy in the midst of a tough season with 6-8 record overall and are 1-4 in conference play. Junior Madison Westby hopes to use this weekend as an opportunity to rebound.
There's a lot of altitude where they're from, so coming here it's going to be a lot different for them. I think that, you know, it's just our team really has nowhere to go but up from here, so that's really positive for us, and we're just going to come out swinging.
Hopefully the women of Troy can knock out 2 wins at home this weekend. If USC Beach Volleyball top duo seniors Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes win against Washington Friday, they will extend their win streak to a whopping 100 consecutive games. This means the last time the pair dropped a match was over 2 years ago on April 2nd, 2015. During that time, the pair has won 5 Pac-12 Pair of the Week awards, including this past week. To put it into context, the last time these two lost, the top song on Billboard's Hot 100 was Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. The #1 box office film was Furious 7, and the dance craze Hit the Quan just began. Kaylee and Rachel, back to you guys.
Okay, hitting 100 streak of wins, that is so impressive. I don't think I've ever won anything 100 times in a row, let alone a beach volleyball game at a Division I school.
Yeah, that is amazing. And you know what? I actually feel so old that Julia mentioned the Quan because I have no idea what that is. That makes me feel very old. Well, high school students across the country are getting their college acceptance letters.
We'll show you the unique application essay that got one student into a prestigious university.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
A student was just accepted to one of the most selective universities in the country after taking an unconventional approach to his application. What he wrote to Stanford bears repeating. Hashtag Black Lives Matter is what Ziad Ahmed wrote. In fact, it mattered so much that he repeated the phrase 100 times. He posted a screenshot of his application and the acceptance letter on Twitter, where the post, of course, quickly went viral.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Rachel Ramos.
And I'm Kaylee Heck. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.